Usually we cannot say that or strictly we cannot say that the information will not reach on the brain. Yes, sometimes it is governed by the brain as well, but normally to make them okay, Martin. So am I audible to you, Martin? Now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, great. So what I was saying is, generally the for reflex actions, information do not reaches till the brain. Order comes back from the backbone, right? Because these actions needed to be very quick, right? Suppose that there is a hot object. We have just touched the hot object. We have to remove the hand. If the information will go from the hand, from the finger to the shoulder, then backbone, then to the brain, then order will come back from the brain to backbone, then to hand muscles. The time of action will be more, right? So there will be more time for the reaction, right? And till the time, when time will increase, then the hand will get burned. So to make these actions fast, what happens when we touch any hot object, the information goes to backbone, and again, like the order comes back to pull back the hand, right? So it takes lesser time, and the damage become lesser, right? So that's why these are the quick action. Generally, you must have seen those skills which we practice every day. They become the reflex action. For sake of example, you must have seen a person who is playing piano, right? The person who is playing piano, just a minute, give me one second. So uh, what happens for sake of example, these are those actions which need to be very fast, right? So a person who is playing piano, he or she never see the towards the keyboard. They just keep on singing, they just keep on playing the piano. So these are the reflex actions. Driving the car, riding a bike or cycle, these all are reflex actions. So those things which we practice every day, they becomes our reflex actions. Is it clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? Tell me, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we noted down in last class, please tell me. Did we noted anything in last class? No, we didn't. Did we noted anything? Like, did I dictated anything in last class?
Last class we stopped off at nervous system.
Okay, fine. So look, first I'll explain again this reflex. So the reflex actions, I explained you. Now this is the reflex pathway or reflex arc. What happened? The person is touching any hot object. Receptor which are present in hand, like basically they are the dendrites, right? They feel the heat or pain. Receptor which are present on the skin. Now there is a special kind of the nerve which is taking the information towards the brain, right? And we have already discussed they are called sensory neurons. So sensory neurons, they take the information from outside of the body towards the brain, right? So they are called sensory. Sensory neuron, they took the information till the backbone. In the backbone itself, there is a small part of the neuron. We call this part relay. Basically, it is working like a brain, right? So relay, what relay did? Relay have taken the action, right? And order to the hand muscles. Now the information is going back towards the organ, right? Now those nerves which taking back the order towards the brain, towards the organ, they are called motor neurons. Motor neurons bringing back the order. Now the order given back to muscles. What is that muscle? The name of muscle, effector muscles. Effector muscles which is present in the arm, it pulled back the hand, right? And this complete pathway is called reflex arc. Is that clear? So please note it down. And I want you people to draw this diagram after the class. Right now, what you can do, you can take the screenshot of this one, right? And draw this diagram after the class, leave some space and put the heading reflex action. Let's start writing. So reflex action and reflex arc, containing reflex action and reflex arc. This is a rapid autonomic response. This is a rapid autonomic response, autonomic response to stimulus, which is not under the under the voluntary control, which is not under the voluntary control of the brain, which is not the under voluntary control of the brain. Full stop. It is described as involuntary action. It is described as involuntary action. Means those actions where brain is involved, like those actions where brain is involved, and those actions which can be controlled by our own wish are called voluntary actions. Involuntary action, those actions where we cannot control the action by our own wish. For sake of example, you cannot reduce or increase your heart rate. It is autonomic response. It is automated response. We cannot do it by our own wish. So it is involuntary action. Voluntary actions like pulling the hand, bending down the hand, controlling the hand, right? These are the voluntary actions where we can control these organs with the help of our brain, right? Next. Thus, reflex action is one. Thus, reflex action is one which we perform automatically, Full stop. Now, what is the reflex arc? So please note down the reflex arc. Example, please note down the example of reflex action. Like touching hot object, comma, playing piano, comma, driving car, etc.
Example of reflex action.
Yeah, they are the example of reflex action.
Can I repeat? So,
touching hot object, comma, playing piano, comma, driving car, etc. Right? Now, reflex pathway. First point. The receptor trigger an impulse. Receptor trigger an impulse in sensory neurons, sensory neurons. Full stop. Sensory neuron transmit these masses. Sensory neuron transmit these masses to spinal cord. Full stop. Here The impulse is passed here. The impulse is passed on to relay neuron. Impulse is passed to relay neuron, which in turn passes it to motor neuron, which in turn passes it to motor neuron. Full stop. The motor neuron passes impulse to particular muscle. Motor neuron passes impulse to particular neuron. By this way, the action is taken. This pathway,
By this way, then after.
by this way, action is taken. Full stop. This pathway along which impulse travel, this pathway along which impulse travel is called reflex arc, reflex arc. Next point. Next paragraph. The spinal reflexes are produced in spinal cord, but the masses of reflex action also goes to brain. I have told you in last class that when you touch any hot object, first you pull back the hand, then you feel the heat. Then you feel the pain. When you feel the pain, so there is a difference between pulling the hand and feeling the pain. So when you feel the pain on that time, the masses reaches to your brain, right? Till the time you do not feel the pain, masses do not reaches to the brain, and action is taken place before you feel the pain, right? So this was the reflex arc and reflection. Clear? Now,
Yes.
okay. So what else is left? Uh, Types of neuron. Okay. Neurons, right, that are part of nervous system. So did I told you this the PN is autonomic nervous system and voluntary nervous system? Did I told you this one?
Yes.
Okay, I have told you each and everything. This one. So I told you the reflex action. Then okay. Now what is the left? That is the brain. The part which is left, that is the brain. That should be the last topic of this chapter in your textbook. Am I correct? So first, let me tell you the central. So put the heading central nervous system (CNS). Right. So next topic is central nervous system (CNS). Means brain. Central. Central nervous system. And we call it C. Give me 1 second. I am going to show you a diagram of brain, illustrative diagram of brain. I'll tell you. So let me make it a smaller one. This is the diagram of human brain. Is it visible to all of you? Visible to all of you? Clearly visible? Yes, guys?
Yes, yes, sir.
Fine, fine, fine. Right. So this is the central nervous system. Right. This is the basically brain. So the brain part, let me tell you what are the part. Basically, we divide the brain in. It's not that much in elaborated way in your syllabus. So I'll tell you that much, which is that much part which is present in your syllabus. So for normally we divide the brain in three parts. So we can say the part of brain. So first part is called forebrain, right? Forebrain, right? Then the second one is called middle brain. And third one is called hindbrain. Further, there are many part of the forebrain, but we do not discuss in class 10th. This is it has been again mentioned in class 11th. So that's why I'm not going to elaborate that much. So there is also a part middle brain, and in hindbrain, basically we study the three part. So the three part of the hindbrain are this one. So first one is cerebellum. Cerebellum. Cerebellum is a Latin word. It means a small brain, right? Then medulla, and the third part is called pons. Pons, right? So look, this is this part which is written over prefrontal cortex. So this complete part is basically called forebrain. Forebrain. Then this blue colored part, this is basically called this midbrain, right? This is called middle brain. This blue color part, this is called middle brain, right? Then let me write. This is middle brain, middle brain, right? Then their hindbrain, the first part of the hindbrain, this brain stem, this is called pons. bones. Then cerebellum, this part, cerebellum, right? And this part is called basically medulla. Just basically this part is called bones. Bones. This swollen part, this one, right? And this below part, this is called medulla oblongata. Medulla, this is the full form, medulla oblongata. Medulla is that part basically which connect the brain to the backbone, right? So these are the part of the brain, and inside our brain there are three glands, right? There are three glands. So let me tell you as well about the glands. Those glands. So there is one gland which is called pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is also known as the master gland because this gland controls rest of the gland of body. So this is called master gland, means master of all glands. Then there is another gland which is called hypothalamus gland. Hippocampus, what is that? Hypothalamus. This is hypothalamus gland, second gland, right? So hypothalamus gland is secretary of master gland, right? This is assistant of master gland. Last but not the least, there is one more gland. So you can remove this one as well, this part as well, right? There is one more gland which is present over here, this part, and that gland is called pineal. These are the three glands. Pineal gland. Pineal gland is responsible for the sleeping action in our body, right? So the brain is have three parts: forebrain, middle brain, and hindbrain. Then hindbrain have further three parts: cerebellum, medulla, and bones, right? And there are particular three glands which are present. So let me write it down the glands as well. Then you can take the screenshot and note it down. Glands of brain. So there are basically three glands of the brain. First is pituitary, which is pituitary gland, right? Next, then second one, that is the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is called thermostat because it controls the this pituitary gland is called master gland. Hypothalamus is thermostat because it controls the temperature of our body. So it is called thermostat, right? And the third one, that is called uh, pineal gland. Pineal gland is responsible for sleeping, right? This is responsible for sleeping. First, please note it down and let me know. Put it down. Done?
Yes.
Okay. Got it? Understood? Abdullah, is it clear?
Yes,
Amna?
sir.
Okay. Amna and Ayman, please tell me, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, great. Amna, please message me if it's clear, and if not, then please ask me. So we have already discussed that the central nervous system is made up of two things, brain and backbone, right? We have just studied the brain, and the backbone part we just see in the reflex, showing the reflex action, right? So please start noting down. The heading is central nervous system. Take this screenshot and expect like you have to draw the diagram of those things which I have underlined, right? Which I have underlined, right? So you can draw this diagram. So please start writing down central nervous system. The central nervous system, CNS, the central nervous system, CNS, consists of brain and spinal cord. The central nervous system, CNS, consists of brain and spinal cord. Full stop. The work of central nervous system is the work of central nervous system is to direct incoming masses, to direct incoming masses to motor neuron, to motor neurons that are connected to the part of body that are connected to the part of body which will respond to stimulus, which will respond to stimulus. Full stop.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, sure. The work of central nervous system is to direct incoming masses to motor neurons that are connected to
To direct what?
direct incoming messages to motor neuron that are connected to part of body which will respond to stimulus. Full stop. In complicated response, the brain and spinal cord in complicated response, brain and spinal cord both are involved. Full stop. By using central nervous system, a person can vary his behavior A person can vary his behavior according to changing situation, according to changing situations. Now put the heading, small heading, brain. So I want to tell you this is the skull, this skull, this bone part, right? So the skull or the bone part is called cranium. It's below our hair. So that is called cranium. That bone is called cranium. Cranium is also known as brain box. So there is a this one, this bone which cover our brain, right? So this bone which cover our brain, this bone shell is called cranium, right? So cranium is that box inside which our brain is situated. That's why cranium is also known as brain box. Sorry, this is known as brain box. Brain box. Because brain remains safe inside this, inside the cranium, right? So first, not the brain are the first protector. Basically, these hair are the protector first. So first, these hair they receive the jerk or any injury which come out from outside. So first, this is the protector. Second function of the hair is to protect our brain. They keep our brain cool, because what happened when the hair when the air comes, air goes inside our brain, and sorry, air goes inside our hair, and air circulation takes place, and it gets stuck in the hairs, and air circulation takes place. So their function is also, they are the cooling part of the our brain, right? Uh, so then the cranium, and inside the cranium there is a membrane which is also a protective membrane. That membrane is known as meninges. So there is a membrane, and inside membrane there is a fluid as well, right? So the next protecting covering, second one, that is called meninges. Menan Meninges. Meninges. Meninges is a type of membrane, right? Membrane. Then there is a brain, right? And inside this membrane, there is a fluid which is able to bear the jerk. That fluid which remains filled over here, that fluid is known as, there is a fluid, right? Between this membrane, there is a fluid. This fluid also is helpful to bear the jerk. So there are three layers. First cranium, then meninges, then there is a fluid. This fluid is known as cerebrospinal fluid, right? This is known as cerebrospinal fluid. So cerebrospinal fluid. So first covering is this cranium, second covering is meninges, third covering is cerebrospinal fluid. So these are the three layers which protect our brain. Our brain remains secured inside these membranes. Please start noting now. The brain is located inside. The brain is located inside our skull. Inside our skull. Full stop. Inside our skull. Full stop. It is protected by. It is protected by bony box. Bony box in the skull. Bony box in the skull called cranium. bony box in the skull called cranium. Full stop. Next point. The brain is surrounded by a protective membrane. The brain is surrounded by a protective membrane called meninges. Full stop. Next point. The space between membrane remains filled with cerebrospinal fluid. Which protect membrane which protect brain from mechanical shocks. Next point. Put the heading parts of brain. The brain can be divided in 3 parts. First, forebrain. Second, middle brain. Third, hindbrain. First, forebrain. Second, middle brain. Third, hindbrain, which further consists of cerebellum, medulla, and pons. Cerebellum, medulla, and pons. Full stop. Next point. The forebrain mainly consists of cerebrum. Cerebrum means big brain, right? The forebrain mainly consists of cerebrum. It is the main thinking part of brain. Full stop. It is the site for learning. Reasoning, intelligence, personality, and memory. It is the site for learning. Which one? Forebrain, cerebrum. This is the main processor of our brain. This is the main brain which works. This decide the intellectual level of any person, right? So cerebrum, it is responsible for learning, reasoning, intelligence, personality, and memory. Full stop. All are thought actions and movement, the same in the same forebrain. You have to write it down this under the same heading, forebrain. All are thought, actions and movement are controlled by forebrain. So this upper layer of brain is known as forebrain, and main part of this brain which is responsible for thinking, we call that cerebrum. Cerebrum is big brain, right? Cerebellum is small brain, right? Next, cerebrum also controlled thinking and memory. Full stop. It receive information from eye. It receive information, so eye remains connected with the cerebrum. It receive information from eye, comma, ears, nose, tongue and skin. Full stop. Next point, in the cerebrum itself, all voluntary actions which we do by our own wish, all voluntary actions are controlled by cerebrum. Full stop. Cerebrum interpret this information in light of previous experience. Cerebrum interpret this information in the light of previous experiences and takes a decision
Of previous what?
previous experiences. Like last time we touch any hot object and we have felt the plane. Then if we will see only the hot object, we won't touch that. So how did you come to know that? Due to the previous experience, because last time you have touched that, right? So your brain have taken the decision on the basis of your previous experience, right? So cerebrum takes the information in light of previous experiences and takes decision which it think right. Next point, midbrain controls reflex movement. Midbrain controls reflex movement of head, neck. Midbrain controlled reflex movement of head, comma, neck and trunk.
And what?
And trunk means the stomach part. And trunk with the help of visual response. Next point, midbrain also changes the shape of lens, of human eye. Next point, hide brain. Hide brain is made up of three parts. 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 Bones regulate the respiration. Bones is responsible for the respiration part, like our lungs take the breathe in and breathe out, right? So bones regulate the respiration. Full stop. Cerebellum maintain the balance of body. Like when you are riding a bike and you get a turn, you lean with your body. So that is the thing which is done by the cerebellum, that maintain the balance. So while you do this skating, during the skating, you move your body by this way, that way, you lean forward, backward to maintain the balance, and that is done by only cerebellum. So cerebellum help in maintaining the balance of body. Full stop. It also help in movement like walking, dancing, riding bike, etc. Next, medulla controls various involuntary action. Medulla controls various involuntary actions. Involuntary, those actions which do not takes place by our own wish. Medulla controls involuntary actions. It also controls heartbeat. Blood pressure, and reflexes. Full stop. It controls coughing, sneezing. It controls coughing, sneezing, vomiting, coughing, sneezing, vomiting, and secretion of saliva. That's it for the brain. Did you got all point, or you have any doubt on the brain? In case if you have any doubt, please ask me. Clear? Please tell
Yes.
me. Is it clear everything?
Yes, sir.
Ayman? All points are clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Amna? All clear? So now this chapter is over, and go through with your book. Is there any topic which is left? Feel free to share with me. Is there any topic, any heading, any line is left in your textbook? Because in next class, we'll start with the chemical coordination, means endocrine system, glands and all that.